Good evening, everyone. On 3KG, thekage.com, every Wednesday night from Arnie's here in Rensselaer. Get the gathering of the coaches to talk about their past week and look ahead to their upcoming games as well. Starting things off with Sam Zachary from the North Newton Spartan boys basketball team. Sam, good to see you again. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Bob?
Doing really well. All right. We got 3 games to talk about. Is that right? 6th, 7th, and 13th.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Whatever you tell me we're talking about.
All right. West Central, you won 52-36. Tell us about it.
Yeah, last Friday we hosted West Central in a boy-girl doubleheader. Things started out kind of slow for us. We got some foul trouble early. Levi Church picked up a couple early in the first quarter, so did Mike Levy. So we had to play Jake and Tulip and Patrick Berry quite a bit. But we started out in man and we struggled scoring. We struggled keeping the ball. We were turning it over quite a bit. And then we got into a zone and kind of settled in. We went in at the half down 1, 23-22. Made some adjustments. Kind of made some adjustments to our zone and went back out and just we played well. The second half, I felt like we put in half. We were in position. We were getting tips on the ball. We were attacking the rim. We really put it together in the second half and ended up winning by, I believe it was 16. I think it was 52-36.
It was, yes. Who played well for you offensively?
Gagnon led us again in scoring. I think he finished with 25. Levi Church played well offensively. He played under control. He attacked the rim well. He finished with 11. Connor Scatella, I believe, had 6. Andrew Kolovis had a couple. Mike Levy had 6. It was a good overall team win where we took care of the ball, we attacked, we finished, and we had to fight some adversity to do it, which was really good for us.
All right, then last Saturday night at Twin Lakes, 55.
Up their defenses. They played us in a 2-3 zone to start, and then they went into a 3-2 zone in the second half. And when we faced that change, and in practice, we did a great job of attacking the rim. We did a great job of looking for open shots, of doing everything we needed to do. And then on Saturday, to me, it didn't seem like we were confident in what we were doing. We were trying to work the ball. Some of the shots we were taking weren't the best look we could probably get. We didn't really want to attack. And at some point in the third quarter, it actually may have been the fourth quarter, we were down 10. We ended up getting it down to 1, I believe. It was 1 or 2. They threw a long pass, had an and 1. We came down. Gagnon banked in a 3. We were down 3. Ended up fouling a kid. He misses both at the line, so we have an out-of-bounds play. Down 3, right in front of our bench with 10 seconds left.
Oh, well, more could you want, right?
That's what I mean. Even with missing all the free throws and all those things, we're still in a position to have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
We drop an out-of-bounds play. They double Gagnon. Ball gets into Mike and missed. So, we even had a clean look. Maybe not the best look we could have had. Looking back on it, I think I wouldn't have run the inbounds play that we did. I think I would have gotten the ball in and ran a set. But with 10 seconds left in that situation, sometimes you're just trying to think of what the best thing to do at the moment is. And if it works, then you're a genius. If it doesn't work, then you're an idiot. And unfortunately for me, I came away looking like an idiot.
Well, I wouldn't call you an idiot, that's for sure. But anyway, 6-6. Is they just kind of hovering over the 500 mark, a little under, a little over, and now you're at 500. What are you thinking?
Yeah, here in this second half of the season, as we got out of the tournament, I was kind of disappointed with how we ended 2022. We had that really tough double overtime loss the night before to North Montgomery.
But about the tournament, just go over the whole tournament there. We haven't talked to you about that yet.
So. Oh yeah, we started it off playing Tri-County at home. Kitchen
Classic.
Holiday Classic. I don't know. They've got so many names with these sponsorships. Actually down at halftime, and then it was a tough battle that we pulled away to win by 3. That put us in the semifinal against North Montgomery. We go down to Delphi to play North Montgomery. we play well. I think we were up at halftime, 22-21. But we go the first 6 minutes of the third quarter, we're scoreless. We got down 11. I think it was 32-21. No, 33-22. And then we go on an 8-0 run in the last 2 minutes. So we're down 2 going into the fourth quarter. And then we just battled. We ran some sets. We did a lot of good things. We got the ball to the rim. We played it. It was a 2 overtime game. Both overtimes we started with the ball and getting a score on the first possession, I believe. But then, we'd have a 2-point lead, a 3-point lead, and we'd come down and we wouldn't take care of the ball. We'd make a pass and the other person wasn't paying attention and the ball goes out of bounds, or we're trying to force up a 15-foot jump shot that we don't necessarily need. We just didn't do things well down the stretch to pull that one out. I'm proud of how they battled. Obviously, we were down 11, and we went to overtime twice. Free throw shooting killed us in that game. But our defensive effort was really, really good. They had a couple good shooters that we shut down for the most part. And go back to Delphi to play Winnemac on Tuesday, or on Thursday, I'm sorry. And we were tired. You could tell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You could tell when we got to, we got back. Kids were getting home 10:30 to turn around and be back at the school at 9:30 the next morning after playing all that. They were tired. They were tired when they showed up to the school. Before we got on the bus, I was worried that our legs wouldn't be there. We wouldn't be there mentally. And then Winnemac, a team we had beat by 6 earlier in the year, ended up getting us by 20 to close out that tournament. And we struggled. We struggled making shots. We struggled with the looks we wanted to get. Sometimes you have those games where things just don't go your way. But, we came back against West Central and we're better. So, to me, it shows that we're learning and that we're on the right track.
Double weekend this weekend. Tell us about both games.
Yeah, we have a big conference at Faith Christian on Friday. To 5:30 JV start Central Time. They've got some athletes. They handle the ball well. They've got twin brothers that are decent shooters. They've gotten to the rim and scoring. He's leading them in scoring at about 10 a game. Their scoring's kind of spread out. Their record I think is like 4-6. But in the games they've won, they've shot the ball really well. In the games they've gotten beat, they haven't shot the ball very well. So we're going to need to be ready defensively to defend, especially their shooters. Saturday we go down to Delphi, a team we haven't seen, even though we played a tournament down there. And Delphi is probably very similar to Faith Christian. Early in the year, I know they got North White, Faith Christian, and South Newton and started 3-0. They've got a little bit of size. They work the ball well. They play really hard. Number 0 is a decent shooter, so we're gonna have to be ready to defend both nights this week. But it's very possible to come away with 2 wins.
11 games left in your regular season. What do you hope to accomplish?
As I was talking with you and Scotty about before we came on, looking at the months of January and February, there are a lot of games on there that if we play to our potential and we keep getting better, we can win. Going into the month, I think we had 13 games on there. And when I looked at it, last week before we started practice for the week, I thought all 13 of those games, we could win. Or we could compete really, really well in to give ourselves a chance. We've just got to clean up our mistakes. We've got to get better at shooting free throws. And we've got to play hard every night and play hard consistently. We can't have those 3 or 4 minute lapses where we let teams go on 10-0 runs, and then we've got to fight back in the second half to make it competitive.
You need more of those little block of 4 wins in a row there.
Yeah.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be awesome. I wish the scores were a little more, or the margin was a little bit bigger on those 4 wins, but that 1-point win and that 4-point win and that 3-point win, I wish it should have been actually.
And a 6-point win up here. So your wins have, except for the West Central game, have been tight, haven't they?
They've been pretty close. And all those games actually we had, looking at the DeMott Christian game and the Highland game, we had a 10-point lead twice against Highland and ended up winning by 1. We had a 10-point lead against DeMott Christian and ended up winning by 4. So I just told these guys over here, to me, when we get a lead, we start playing out of control, we start taking bad shots, we've got to learn to control the ball and get the best possible look. Like I tell the kids all the time, when you're winning, you want the clock to run. That's the best thing to do. And you want to have the ball while the clock is running. We've just got to figure those things out, and it's a learning process.
And make free throws. So, that frustrates you a lot?
I think I punched a chair against Tri-County.
Oh, no.
I think I caught it with my hand. I think that was a game we were like 11-25. And I mean, one of the games.
Because I'm sure several of those are one-on-ones too, I bet, right? Couple?
They all run together. We have too many misses that I can't even remember. You know, the thing is, like, one of the games I was counting, like, I think it was DeMott Christian. We started that like 0 for 8 from the free throw line. I mean, the thing that's really disappointing is we're getting to the rim and we're getting fouled. We're getting teams in foul trouble, but it's not paying off for us. Exactly what you want to do is what we're doing. I mean, we're attacking people. We're getting them in foul trouble. We're getting free throws, but we're not converting them.
Is it just they're not confident when they go up there? Or?
You know, I think at this point we've struggled so much that it's mental.
Right.
And I don't want to speak for them, but I don't know how confident they are. And the thing is, and this is what's frustrating, we do it in practice at different periods in different ways.
And
they'll stand there and sink them. I mean, we were doing a drill the other day, and we were doing a 3-on-3-on-3 drill, and we hit like 7 or 8 threes. I don't know that we have 7 or 8 threes on the year. We hit 7 or 8 of them in an 8-minute drill. I looked at the kid. I said, "Why can't you do this in a game? Like, why do you waste it out here?"
Yeah.
So, and it's the same with free throws. You'll walk by, and kids will go 10 for 10, and then you'll put them in a game, and they're 0 for 6. Like, come on, guys, you're killing me. But we're getting there. We're working on it. We're getting there. I've got some kids that are getting more confident and that are sinking them, and so we'll, you know, that's a goal for us to have in January and February, is to improve that percentage from where it is. And if we can get it over 50 as a team from where it's at right now, I'll be proud of them because it'll show a lot of growth.
Get that. There you go. 5 straight on the road too.
Yeah, whoever made this schedule,
I don't know.
Who's
that guy?
He should probably be fired. He's really kind of hurting us. But we went like 8 on the road or 8 at home. I think
7 out of 8. Yeah.
Our first 10 games, because even in that tournament, our first 10 games, we wore our home uniforms 9 times. I mean, my water bill was not very great having to take those home. And
.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza, and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet us needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals, increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Back on the Coach's Cage, I'm Bob Kurtz along with Scotty Miller tonight, controlling the board over there, and we are live from Arnie's Pizza right across from St. Joseph's College on the south side of Rensselaer. And up next is North White boys coach Matt Sipikama. And Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right. Kind of a light schedule for you.
From an offensive standpoint, you know, like we're only averaging about 45, so we're right on our average. I'm like, wow, we give up 12 points and a half, and we're sweating in here. And I mean, you don't give up 12 points and a half and should be sweating in the locker room. And we go back and we talked last week and on the air on Saturday. We were 2 for 11 from the foul line at that point, and then we took more threes than twos. So I really challenged the boys and said, is South Newton that good from a defensive standpoint to where we can't get the ball inside the paint or inside the arc, And I'm like, if we hit some free throws, we're up 25-12, and but we switched our press up, and a lot of teams are pressing just to take you out of your offense. You'll see it where they're not getting aggressive because you don't want to get beat long, but we're more aggressive, and that's the way I like pressing because there's just too many gaps, and there's too much court to cover if you're not getting aggressive on those guards. So we actually went to a 1-2-2, which we hadn't ran all year on them in the third quarter, and I think we forced 4 or 5 turnovers in a row. And the 1-2-2 is what sets up the quick score because you're getting them so deep in the backcourt. So I think we jumped up like 32-17 at the end of 3, and then we ended up. It says 48, but it was actually that's a typo. It was 40-22 to end the game. But once again, we held the team to 22 points the last few games. It's been in the 40s and 20s, and when we started the season, I think we gave up 68 in the first game against South Newton.
Who played well for you that night?
Sometimes it's not always about stats, but obviously we need Dane to play well. And Dane was only a double-figure guy, but he got a lot of shots up, which we needed him to. But I think, I don't have my stats right here, but I think we had 4 or 5 guys with 6 or 7 points apiece, and the scoring was balanced. And we need that. If anybody decided to just take Dane out, we'd be in a lot of trouble. So, but one kid I think is really stepping up for us the last few games. I mentioned it last week is Artemio Benitez. It's not just on the staff standpoint, but he knows where to be at. He really covers the backside of our press for us. The defensive rotation is there, and he's just been playing really, really well, and you could tell how much better he's getting from game to game.
Does your team seem to gain in confidence as the season rolls along?
Yeah, I do, and it's just a lot of it sometimes is it depends on your schedule. Sometimes it seems like every team plays a stacked 4 or 5 games, and then. But I think with we lost Brendan, and it's really tough loss for us. 2 guard for the first 8 games of the season. He probably averaged 28 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game, and I was like, we can't afford to get anybody hurt. And then over at December 29th at South Central, he went down with an injury. We thought it was just going to be like a one-game thing. After talking to the trainer and the doctor, the swelling in his leg did not go down. He went back and saw an orthopedic surgeon last week, and it was an ACL tear. So we had.
So he's done. Then
he's done, and he's hopefully he should be ready by the start of next season. The way technology is, but
right.
We had. You saw. I know Zach Cook is a new kid to our program this year. He hit a 3 off the bench. I thought, I tried to be biased, but I thought Braylon played really well. He had 5 points for his South Newton game. More importantly, in his 3 varsity games, he's only had 1 turnover. So, and he gives you a lot of hustle. He's just got a lot to learn. So, we need Zach and Braylon to really fill in where Brendan's left off, and they won't be able to do all what he's doing, but they have different parts of their game. Frontier, they hate us. Like it is just a hatred. I mean, it's a different type of hatred than a Tri-County or another.
Is that your biggest rival? You think?
By far.
By far.
And we have great rivalries with Tri-County and South Newton and West Central up the road.
Sure.
But there's something about Frontier, and
same county.
And and I told the boys Monday we came off kind of like not, didn't have the gym. Any kid that can like set their shot midair at that size, at this level, where around us is a really dangerous player. And then they have Justin Schroeder, who's a very big, strong, physical boy. He's probably averaging 10 and 10, and if we can shut those 2 guys down, and everything's been about those 2 guys, and you're always afraid of it, but that's just part of basketball. Is like, what role player might step up for them, right? But we're gonna have to handle, like, without having Brendan, Lucas, and Dane's gonna need some more help handling the ball. I wholeheartedly expect to get a diamond press or a 2-1-2 press, and then we're gonna have to be able to handle it. And then more importantly, we're gonna have to be able to sustain our energy and play hard for 32 minutes.
About halfway through the season, what do you hope to accomplish the last half of the year?
Can't lose Frontier and then expect to, we have North Newton to follow. I I think North Newton and Faith game is going to be a heck of a game Friday night. We have North Newton, and we still have Faith, and we still have West Central. It has explosive Aiden White, in there. I mean, you got to win this game. So a lot of reasons to go out and play hard, but if we go 2-1 in the conference after
Bus conference
for us, no.
For anybody.
For one loss, yes.
Loss.
But unfortunately, we had that 10-point loss to Tri-County.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think you could afford one loss with the two new schools. But I mean, the way Faith and I think North Newton is playing some really good basketball, the way those two teams are playing, it's going to be hard to beat those teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, for our standpoint, with the way our schedule is, as long as you're 2-1 or one loss in a conference, anything can happen. All these conference teams, even though there's the teams that you say are playing better basketball or they're doing really good, every team in our conference will allow you to play with them, if that makes sense. Their style is not a style that's going to go out and beat you by 30 or 40.
Right.
So you just got to take it game by game. But this late in this, I say late, but this far in the season, we're still playing for a conference, which is important. So we're still playing for a lot, and that's all you can ask for.
Matt, appreciate the time, and go get them Friday night, and we'll talk to you next week, all right?
Thank you. It sounds good.
Matt Sipicum from the North White boys basketball team. But our guests, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com. Right.
Bill, do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Banks, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Back on the Coach's Cage. Our next broadcast will be Friday night. Back to the Midwest Conference once again over at Tri-County as the Cavalier boys take on West Central. That'll be about a 6:15 Central Time pregame show right here on 3KG The Cage. Brian Heimlich has stepped behind the microphone, the coach of the North White Lady Vikings. Brian, good.
Good, thanks.
All right, 3 games to talk about, so take it away.
Yeah, so we last Thursday, Rensselaer came over to our place, and we had struggled, up to that point with Abigail Spry being out. She had been out for 8 games, and so we got her back. She still had only practiced, a handful of times. She had gotten, I think, 5 practices in before that game, and she I think, just trying to get her stamina back was a big thing, and and that game was probably not the best to have that, because they're going to pressure you from inline to inline and all over the court, and so we're still without. In these last 3 games, we were still without a couple other girls with concussions, so we're only playing about 6 girls, and that really hindered us. I thought our girls really fought hard. With looks. Just couldn't get them to go in there. And third quarter, I don't think we even had a field goal. I think we had 5 free throws, and so I think that was the big one that really hurt us in that game, was that third quarter.
Were you getting shots or just missing them, or not getting shots?
We had some turnovers too.
Yeah.
we had some good looks in that third quarter, but I think we had some turnovers in there too that kind of contributed to that. And then the fourth quarter, it was just ended up 42-31. Again, I thought effort was really, really solid. Their pressure just wore us down. I really thought their pressure just wore us down. They come, they're just really physical with you. And, when you can't sub some people in, I think, it hurt us. Just even for 30 seconds here and there, I think it helps just to get some of those girls when they have to handle the ball, the full length of the court. We were bringing Tessa up there, and, it really wears her out, having to go offense, defense the entire time. And so it was, I said, it was a good effort. She had 10. Abigail had 6. Morgan Carter, sophomore, is really, I thought, it's really come on here lately. Played well for us. She had 6 off the bench, and defensively she's being active, and she's being aggressive with the ball. Penetrating, those types of things, and that's we're looking for that other guard that's willing to penetrate, because you have to have penetration to break down defenses, and with Abigail back, that helps, and now we're trying to get somebody else to do that as well. And then Saturday we went over for a conference game over at South Newton, and we knew they were struggling. We were too. We wanted to come out and take control from the start, and I thought our girls did that. We wanted to look up the floor early, getting some transition. Autumn Rife ran the floor well. And we felt we had a size advantage too with Tessa and Autumn, and we hit them. I think they had 15 together in that first quarter, so that was nice to see. Autumn is really, for a freshman, is really starting to come on. She didn't score in that first quarter, but she had 16 in the second and third together, so it was nice to get her shot going. We had 5 threes on the night, so that was another nice thing to see. We want some girls to get some confidence shooting the ball, and so good win for us conference-wise to stay in the hunt. We just got to finish the season strong on our end and see what happens there in the conference. What makes it so hard as a freshman to come up from either that age? Well, and I think too, it depends on nowadays some girls come in, they play a lot more in the summer or play that AAU in those games, and so if you don't do that, I feel like you're a little bit behind the curve as far as just the physicalness of the game. I think that's the biggest thing, and just being able, that aggressiveness. You can pick up some other things, but that aggressiveness, especially early on, and team that's a big step from that 8th grade to the varsity. Because you're playing older kids too, against older kids, right? So. And so I think that's the biggest thing, and then obviously defense, just some different things that you do at the varsity level compared to the middle school levels. You played at home against Clinton Prairie last night. Tell us about that. Yeah, so Clinton Prairie came up, and they're a solid team too, and so we just wanted to get out, just compete. We had the band there for the first time all year, and it was good atmosphere. We got out early. We got 9-6 lead. We had some nice looks in that first quarter. Really should have had a bigger lead. At the end of that first quarter, but then struggled again. I think we've talked about before. We've always had a quarter where we really struggle, and we only had 4 in the second quarter, and I think we had like 11 turnovers in that quarter too. So that you just give an awful lot of possessions away when you do that. And we're down 4 halftime, 17-13. So not feeling too bad of ourselves. Just wanted to come out and see what we could do in that second second half, third quarter, and we outscored them 9-7. We were down 24-22, and then we were able to take the lead actually early in the fourth quarter at 26-24, and then just again untimely turnovers, just couldn't finish possessions and ended up losing 38-32. We fouled a little bit down the stretch. We had it to 2, and then they had to foul, and they hit some free throws. And, the big story of the night was us. We had 26 turnovers. And, you lose by 6. I mean, there's just a lot of possessions right there that you gave away. And so I told the girl, effort-wise was there. It was just, turnovers was a big difference. And you can't turn the ball over that many times and expect to win too many games. And I look at the schedule tomorrow night. It's number 1 team in the class, what, 3A? 3A, yeah, Twin Lakes. Twin Lakes undefeated, right? Yeah, so we go over there to the Stags Gymnasium, and they're good. that's what I told the girls tonight. They're solid. I mean, we have nothing week from Sunday, so that's coming up quick too. So.
And where's your sectional at this year?
It's at Tri-County.
Tri-County. Okay, so that's not that far away. So, all right, Brian.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming over. Appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll talk next Wednesday, okay?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Brian Heimlich from the North White Lady Vikings, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KG, thekage.com right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology. State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan.
Welcome back to the Coach's Cage program on 3KG, thekage.com. We're at Arnie's every Wednesday, and the show kicks off a little bit before 6 o'clock Central Time most Wednesdays when the coaches are all arriving. And next up is Tri-County Boys coach Ryan Harrington. Ryan?
Good. How are you?
Doing really well. 2 games to talk about, 1 road, 1 home. So let's start off with the January 6th DeMont Christian game.
Yeah, kind of a tough outcome for us, traveling up to DeMont. They got a smaller gym up there.
Yes, they do.
It's always a little bit of a different experience getting in there. And, our boys came out, and it was real back and forth in that first half, It seemed like we would score, they would score. We would score, they would score. And just a really competitive game. About 30 seconds left before halftime. Eric Zarzi hit a 3 for us to put us up 28-25. And I thought that was a real big momentum shift for us, but then unfortunately they went down and hit their only 3 of the entire half to match it, and so that's where we went into the half was 28-28. And all right, Connor Ross was in a lot of foul trouble and didn't play a lot of that first half, so we were kind of optimistic coming out of halftime that we could put some things together and come away with the win. Unfortunately, we had a quarter that we hadn't really had in a long time, and we only scored 4 points.
Oops.
So they were able to pull away from us at that point, and by the time we got to the fourth quarter, we're just playing the catch-up game and got to really scramble on the defensive end and gave up some easy looks, unfortunately.
What was the problem in that quarter where you only scored 4?
We just got to make some shots. That's
had
the
good
thing.
shots.
We had decent shots. Shots right there at the rim. Just couldn't get them to fall. It just seemed like there was a lid on the basket or something. So, it's been a while since we've had one of those quarters. So, I was happy that we hadn't had one in a while, but unfortunately it caught us at a really bad time there. And again, we couldn't help ourselves either. There were times where even in that third quarter defensively we had a few breakdowns and where we let our main guy that we're guarding beat us off the dribble, and then when the help side comes, we're in a scramble and you got to give some credit to DeMont. They did a great job of finding the open guy and scoring off of that.
Anybody play well for you that night?
And through all that struggle, Nate Corbin really did well for us that night. He had 19 points for us. So, offensively, Nate did a great job of, scoring. I kind of told him after the game, the only thing I was disappointed with was I thought he could have scored more because, he missed some free throws, and there were some times where if he was a little more patient, I thought he could have more easy looks on the inside too. So, but we can't have quarters where we only score 4 points unless, we're holding the other team to something similar there. So.
All right. And then Saturday night you hosted Attica, a big win.
Yeah.
59-21, it says.
Yeah, it was. So, again, we came out really hot. Attica's had a tough little stretch there for them. But again, our boys were a little frustrated with the night before.
Right.
So kind of blew off a little steam, gave us, a big lead. We were up 47-10 at the half. And we just, again, the whole game, our whole emphasis was making sure that we didn't get too selfish. I really challenged the boys, who can lead us in assists, because that's something that, we want to value and not just try to go out and score points. And a really well-rounded scoring night for us. We changed things up. We brought Connor Ross off the bench after, he had foul trouble the night before, and he did great for us. He didn't miss a shot. He was 6 for 6, even got an and one, made his only free throw attempt there, and finished the night with 13 points. So he actually led us in scoring off the bench. And then Kobe Baylor and Eric Zarzi also scored 11 for us. Really well-rounded scoring across the board. And, I think the boys had a lot of fun that night just sharing the basketball. And, we let the JV boys have a nice little run there in the fourth quarter.
Another double weekend for the Cavaliers this weekend. On Friday night, another Midwest Conference rival with West Central coming to town. You'll be able to hear or see that game on 3kgthekage.com. I believe it's a.
Yep.
All right, so tell us about West Central.
They're having a solid season, 5 wins on the year. Again, like you mentioned, a conference opponent, and with us dropping that game at DeMont, really for us to have a chance to, get a piece of the conference, we got to kind of win out from here on out as far as conference games. So, we've talked about that, and especially when you get an opportunity to play a conference opponent at home, you really have to value those types of games. So they got 2 guys, number 2 and number 11, that average 17 a game each for them. So
Aiden White's one of them, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Aiden White, yep. And then I'm not sure on 11's name, but, he's a sophomore guard. He's a solid little player as well. So, Aiden's a senior. He's been there for a while. And so it's really going to be a challenge for us defensively to sure I'd love for our team to be at, on a more consistent basis. Right. And then, again, holding teams in the 40s, that's where we need to be. So we've been working hard in practice, making sure that we can shut down the dribble drives and, just focusing on those things and offensively where we can look to succeed a little more.
Saturday night on the road at Tri-Township, do they play their games at lacrosse there?
They do, yes. So
that's a small gym too, right?
It is. They've updated that gym. They've got the new logo there at center court and everything. It's kind of that Texas Tech tee for Tri-Township. So, yeah, that's another small gym for us. You got the stage right there on one end and
the doors on the other end, right?
Yep, the padded doors right on the other end.
Holy smokes.
So, yeah, again, it's a cool experience for us. We've traveled to some pretty cool gyms this year, and hopefully the boys are ready to play because we've played them for I think 6 years now, and I think we're like 3-3 against them in those 6-year span. So they've been competitive games these last several years, and like you mentioned, playing in that small gym, it's a little unique. The scores table's up high. You got to walk down the stairs through a tunnel to get to your locker room, and so yeah, any type of those experiences, I think again that's just like kind of part of Indiana basketball.
It's part of the season here.
Like we just talked about a little bit, I really want, we've challenged our kids, we want to win a share of this conference, and it's still there for us as long as we were able to take care of business the rest of the way. So that's definitely a goal at the top of our list. But, also just making sure we're ready heading into the sectional because, I think we can be competitive in that as well with the teams that we have. And we'll see some of those teams here on the remainder of our schedule. So kind of getting to, again, just keep improving every single day. That's really the goal that we've had all season long. And, I think we've already come a long way, and we still got a long way to go, though. So
Before I let you go, you said something. The JV had a nice little stretch here.
Yes, our JV's been really successful. So they just like us, they had a tough start to the season. Started out 0-5, and able to get their first win at North White, and now they've won 5 straight. But again, we want guys playing in a similar role that someday they'll play on the varsity. So we challenge them to kind of buy into the similar concepts that we're running on the varsity level, and Coach Paul Brooks does an amazing job of really drilling the fundamentals with those guys too. And understanding that sometimes just those little details make the difference between winning and losing. And like I said, I think they've really bought in. These last 5 games, you've seen a huge difference in their demeanor on the floor and how they've handled themselves, and they've really bought into what we're doing, and it's been exciting to watch.
Ryan, thanks for the time. Appreciate you coming over, and good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Or I'll talk to you Friday night.
See you Friday, yeah. How about that? So
sounds good.
Thank you.
Ryan Harrington from the Tri-County Cavaliers, back with more of the Coach's Cage show right after this.
Indiana Farm Bureau ensures he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Rolling on with the Coach's Cage program on 3KG, thekage.com. Want to wish our partner Bill Kay a speedy recovery. Bill's been under the weather here last week or so hopefully he'll be back with us soon. Scotty Miller run the board tonight. I'm Bob Kurtz. Bill Shepard has joined us now from the Kankakee Valley Cougars boys basketball team. Bill, good to see you again. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, Bob. Good to be here.
All right. 2 big games this past weekend at Munster and Michigan.
First, on Friday night, we went up to Munster, a big conference game for us. I mean, obviously we know to win the conference, you got to beat Munster, and Munster's an outstanding team. They just came off of they were at a tournament over at Fort Wayne Homestead over there, and they went 3-1 in the tournament, and probably should have won the thing. It was so that they were really rolling coming in, so we knew it was going to be a tough game for us. And we played really, really well. I mean, we were down 4 at halftime at Munster, and they were he's going to Northern Michigan on a full ride. He had a really, really tough 3 to end the first quarter. I mean, we were right in his face from about 27 feet out. Had a really tough 3. So I mean, he just made a shot, and obviously, we take that away, we were only going to be down 1.5. But we played really well. We're down 8 going in the fourth quarter. And we just didn't make enough shots again. Munster, I mean, they're good in the ball club where if you don't make a few shots here and there, they're going to pull away eventually. And
sure.
They wind up winning by 16. But we played well enough to beat them in all facets, other than just putting the ball in the basket. And we got the stats back from that game. We were 2 of 21 from 3, and it was one of those where we hit both of them pretty early actually. So we went the last 3 quarters without hitting 3, and they were just, we ran our offense so well that they weren't contested, they were wide open, and we just didn't make shots. So I mean, from a coaching standpoint, I mean, we did everything we had to do to beat one of the best teams in the area and one of the best teams in 4A actually, and just
nothing you can do about that if you can't make shots, right?
No, and I mean, we have too many good shooters. I mean, eventually that's got to come. And we work on shooting in practice all the time, and it's one of those things where you know, you don't want to harp on it too much in the locker room and stuff because then it starts weighing on the kids,
right?
You know, so. You know, after the game, we just obviously we lost a kid for the first time that game. We have a sophomore we moved up. Bobby Lalonde is his name. We moved him up because he's somebody at the JV level that can put the ball in the basket, and that's kind of what we're looking for. I mean, everything else for us is pretty good. And obviously it was, kind of. I joked with him last week. I'm like, well, we're going to be moving up to varsity for so your first weekend's Michigan City and Munster. Welcome, welcome to varsity level. Might as well just throw them right in the fire right away.
Yeah, why not?
So, we play that way at Munster with, at that time a JV kid playing for us a lot, So that even says more positives about how we played. Just once again, not making a shot. But I told the kids I was proud of the way they played it because I really was. I mean, we frustrated Munster on our defensive end a lot, and and just unfortunately for us, we just had another one of those nights where we didn't make a whole lot, so we wound up losing 62-46. But I was just elated, overall just elated with how we played, just when we got to start making some shots. And then the next night, Saturday afternoon actually was a game we played. We hosted Michigan City on Saturday afternoon. And, I don't know if either team was up more than 5 the whole way. It was just real close the entire game. And back and forth. And once again, another day where we really struggled to shoot the basketball. But Munster, it was relegated to the outside. Michigan City, we struggled shooting both outside and inside. We missed probably 5 or 6 pretty much point-blank layups that we should have got. And on our outside, we were 2 of 14 from 3 against Michigan City. So that was, better than 2 of 21. But but it's not like we're no snipers from out there or anything like that. So, we just got to continue. And you could just tell that game that it was starting to weigh on the kids mentally a little bit about not hitting shots. We had a couple that would rim out from 3, and you could just see everybody was like, man, when are we going to make a shot? And
then you probably start thinking about it.
Oh, yeah,
that's
no doubt.
The worst thing, right?
And that's why, as a coach, I really don't, especially post game and stuff like that. I really don't bring that up a whole lot, because that's something that you got to continue to have confidence that that's going to come around, or else if you don't have confidence it's going to come around, it'll never come around,
right?
So, and we did have a shot to win the basketball game. We actually. We drove the baseline with about 4 or 5 seconds left and had a reverse layup that looked pretty good. It hung on the rim for a second and fell out, and we just didn't have a chance to get the put back up there in time. So we had a chance that we lost 48-47, had a chance to win. And there's 48 points. That's the lowest point total Michigan City's had all year. So a lot of the shots we were looking to get, it's got to start going through the rim at one point in time.
Yeah, we let off talking with Sam Zachary, and he's having that way with his free throw shooting. Their team percentage is in the 40s. What is it with shooting at the high school level here? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's not just that, but like Indiana, that's you're supposed to. Everybody's supposed to have shooters in this state, really. As they're growing up, they just forget. First of all, you just work on catching and shooting the ball. And then that's we'll build from there. But until you can learn just to catch and shoot it, it's especially at the varsity level. You're only going to be open for so long. You got to be able to shoot the ball pretty quick.
Do teams shoot too many threes?
I think some do, and people might say 21 threes. In today's game, I don't think that's a lot. I think 20 is a pretty okay number for a game.
4 a quarter, 5 a quarter.
Yeah, 4 to 5 a quarter. It's not a terrible amount. I think if you're getting in the 33 range, I think you're shooting a lot at that point in time, But, anything in the 20, in the 18 to 20 range, I think is fine. You're not really just gunning it from 3 all the time. But it's just, I think some teams do, but I don't think we fall in that category. We just aren't making enough, the ones that we do shoot.
All right. And says you play at Twin Lakes Friday night, is that right?
Yeah, we're going to Twin Lakes. We're playing at the Roosevelt Middle School because their floor had those issues over Christmas break. So we're playing in the old gym there.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
The horseshoe seating they got going on there and stuff. So that'll be a fun time. But we're looking forward to getting down there. We're looking forward to playing how we've been playing. To our kids' credit, they still are playing really hard and still believing in everything they're doing, and that. And that's just shown from the weekend that we just had. It would have been easy for our kids, especially after losing to Morgan Township in the consolation round of that Highland tournament, to go up there and see Munster, Michigan City, and say, well, we have no shot.
Right.
And they sure didn't do that. In my opinion, they outplayed both those teams. It just, Just unfortunately, the other teams made a few more shots than we did. But and I think I was just telling some of the coaches back there. I got two guards in Colton Pribble and Jake Anderson. Jake Anderson's only started about 3 or 4 games for us. He's a junior. But those two guys, especially on the defensive end, they're just rock solid. They just set the tone. They're hard. I mean, they're not going to wow you with stats or anything, but they're just hard dudes to score on. And on the offensive end, they just do what they're supposed to do. So, I think if we can maintain what we're doing, we go down to Twin Lakes. Eventually we're going to get that night where those shots drop. And once they do, I mean, we can get on a roll.
Yeah, your defensive average is not bad at 54, right?
No, and that's one of the things. We actually looked at that before the Michigan City game. Before the Michigan City game, it was like, the offensive average was about the same, 52 point something, and defensive average was 54 point something. We were under a 2 difference between the two, and when you're that, you don't think of that. I mean, it might not be over 500, but you sure don't think you're going to be 3 and 8, with that kind of stuff. And yeah, the defensive average is good. It's just we got to get the offense. I mean, and we're taking good shots. And we're getting good looks. Sometimes we're rushing. Sometimes I think at times we're not confident because we've missed. And stuff like that. But I just know that this team, that night that they start hitting, I think you're going to see a team go 2 to 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, where it's like, okay, now this is what we can do. I mean, I think they know what they can.
And
do.
you haven't reached that point yet this year.
No. And they know what they can do on the defensive end. I mean, and even Munster's only scored a 62 on us. I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, we're playing pretty good basketball. It's just we gotta find that night where we can make some shots and say, okay, this is the team we can be now. Now let's build on it.
You look at your last 4 losses. You gave up 48 against Benton Central. You gave up 50 to Morgan Township, 62 to Munster, and 48. Some of those in the 40s.
Yeah, and like I said, and 62 to Munster is not bad.
Right.
And you're talking free throws down the stretch too. Could have been a 58 or whatever. I mean, we're doing everything we asked to do, and even on offense we are. They would be at the start of the year, so that's going to be a nice little test for us. We're happy it's at home, no doubt. Especially midweek games. You're always liking the midweek games to be at home. And then obviously at Lowell's a conference game, and they've struggled again this year. But hey, I mean, Lowell's going to be up for KB, so we're going to make sure we're ready to play over there at Lowell on a week from Saturday. But I told the kids too, we lost to Munster, so we probably, I mean, unless Munster really has a bad night, we're probably not going to be getting number. They get adjusted to what they got to do without him. And actually, to their credit, they went up to Munster and lost by 15, hung in there. I told the coach afterwards, I said, you can just tell they're trying to figure it out now without this kid.
Right.
I said, it's just going to take a little bit of time. Once they figure it out, they'll be all right. And sure enough, Michigan City comes in the very next day and they win in overtime. So it's just, they figured it out. They figured it out pretty quick. But they got a lot of confident kids on that team.
Sure.
So they're out there playing pretty hard, playing pretty well. So they had a nice split this weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they build without Bobby on their team. And obviously they got a great win against Michigan City, so hopefully they can string something together here and have some confidence, and that gives somebody else a chance to get better and develop. So that's what we're all about.
Halfway through the season now, what do you expect, or what are your expectations for the last half of the year here?
Well, I mean, I like the way, like I said, getting some wins that they should be getting because they haven't made it. They've missed a couple shots they probably should be making. So, looking forward to some improvements on the shooting, and I think if we can start knocking some shots down, I mean, we're a tough out for a lot of people the way we're playing.
It's always something to it. You always got to try and fine tune something, right?
Oh yeah, and that's all part of it. But
yeah.
I like I said, I really like the effort they're giving. I really like the defensive cohesion they got. And that's, I mean, when you're doing well on that end, that's always, it seems like that's always the toughest end to do well on, especially at the high school level. So we're doing well on that end. We're not going to fall asleep and slide on that end or anything. We're doing fine. If all we got to worry about is knocking some shots down, I'll be okay with that. But I mean, it's getting late. It's getting late early around here. So we're gonna have to knock some shots down sooner or later.
Got to keep that defensive mindset up and make shots.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's a simple game. Just shoot the ball in the basket, right? That's the name of the game.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah. Billy, thanks a lot.
No problem.
This is on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
large game since the Christmas break, and you could tell we were kind of rusty a little bit, and took us a little while to get going, and playing against a good North White team that's very well coached, and
they know how to play that zone.
Oh yeah, they know how to play that zone, and playing on the road, playing there is always. And that gym is one of those gyms that's just it's tough, and if you don't bring your A game, it's going to be a long night for you. And we started off well. I mean, we just had some bumps along the way, and just didn't really find our groove really until about that fourth quarter, and we finally started to pull away a little bit, and it was a good chance for us to get back out there on the floor, and the first halftime 22-16, and we're struggling at times, and that zone is really giving us fits, and Carly Drone's not hitting some shots, and she's not catching there any, and so we're having some hard times there. But then we come out the second half and again finish up 42-31, and Taylor, especially that fourth quarter, really just starts turning up the intensity and starts doing some really good things, and ends up with 14 for us. And then Cadence Mann's had a really good game that game. She had 2 threes for us, and ended up in double figures with 10 points. And Sarah Kaufman, doing the things we needed to do, had 8. And then Camry Rowland came off the bench and scored 6 for us. And then between Brody and Carly did have 2. The 2 of them round us off with 2 points. And again, just a rough game that seemed to give us a hard time there for a while. And some of that, I'm not trying to make excuse. North White played a really good conference game.
Do they ever have a down year?
Not
very often.
Not since I've been there. Now, they tell me before that, yeah. So they're just a small private school that just seems to have it running for them right now. And even when I was at Oregon Davis coaching there, we ran into CC a few times when they had Oaken, and it was, battles then as well. So since I've been coaching girls basketball, they seem to always have a really good team. So, good history. And so it's a conference game for us. And, the first quarter, it's 14-11, and it's a great game back and forth. And then all of a sudden, threes, and we don't respond well. And at halftime, it's 15-33, and we're just struggling to find the basket with things. And it's like the basket just opened up, and everything they threw in went in. And so at halftime we had to make some adjustments. We came out, and again, the adjustments worked, but then they start hitting some more shots, and we start to get a little bit of momentum going, but by then the damage was done. So, I mean, they hit 12 threes in that game. They hit more, like I told you, hit more threes than they did layups. And we only hit 1 3. So
that's cooking. That's
yeah, and again, some of those were contested shots. I mean, they just, when you're feeling. And unfortunately, it was against us, and we get Van Meter with 14 points, and Sarah Kaufman with 12, and Roland comes off the bench with 7, and Drone just never got off the ground and gave us any points. So that hurts us when we only have a couple people scoring double figures for us, and so we really looking for more out of Carly Drone, more out of Brody, and more out of some of these girls. Lola Chan is trying to get some things going out of her. It's just it's kind of frustrating at times because we had the shots. When we go back and look at the film, there's things that we did defensively that we normally don't do, which didn't help our situation any. So, it was just one of those games that you just shake your head and get aggravated with, and so we ended up losing pretty bad, 72-38, and at times that score isn't indicative of what it was like there. I mean, it was a good struggle and a good fought game, but
right around the same time.
Yeah. We don't give ourselves a chance to recuperate or break. We just got to get right back into it. Now, last year at this time, we would have played Twin Lakes in between them, and it's usually a pretty bad situation for us. But we moved Twin Lakes to the beginning of the year on a Monday night, so to try to give us a little bit of a break from that Hoosier Conference gauntlet that I used to call it. So now, yeah, we play a really good West Lafayette team. So I mean, they're sitting at 10-3 right now, and maybe 10-5 right now, whatever it might be. But they're very well coached. Jan's been doing it for a long time, and so they get the Tolan girl. They've got the Martin girl, who scored 1,000 points in her career against BC the other night. They've got a Worth girl who can shoot the ball pretty good. They've got a Karlofakis girl who's a big girl inside who's a load to handle. So a good challenge for us. Again, another conference opponent that we have to face, and I like the challenge, but it's also could be a sectional opponent in a few weeks again. So it is what it is. We just got to be ready to play.
Hello there.
I like that. Can I use that ever?
Yeah, you can. Just tap that little that thing right there.
Keep me from talking. Yeah, I can do all the talking then. And then it's also
19-0.
19-0, also in your conference, and then also, and ranked high in the state overall as well. I think 10th overall, if not 9th. And then you got BC, who's hosting the sectional, and then
I think they're 15-5. I think.
Right. Then you got West Lafayette, who we will face tomorrow night, and then you have us, and then you have North Montgomery. You got Frankfurt. And Western team.
Western had a really good year.
Western's having a really good year as well too. Normally we face them the crossover. I think this year, depending on what happens tomorrow night, we could face them or Tipton or Lewis Cass.
You're going to have to. The team that wins that sectional is going to have to be on their A game.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, you got 2, 4, 6 games left.
Yeah,
it says there.
Yeah, 6 games left. We have North Newton next Tuesday, and then we'll have our Hoosier Conference crossover, whoever they play that on a Friday.
And you don't know who you play.
No, we don't know who we play there yet. And Frontier on Saturday, and then KV and Hebron. Hebron will be our senior night. We have just the one senior in Lola Chamness, so and that Hebron game is a varsity only game. They don't have a JV. So, and moving forward for us, every game that we play will only be 2 quarters JV, simply because Fleming
numbers.
Yeah, Fleming is still. She'll have to get that fixed. So we're trying to.
Well, you only need to play 2 quarters of JV with what you're going through
right.
now.
So that's why we're at in the shape we're in right now. It's simply because of the injuries that we have.
What do you want to accomplish these last few games?
We want to win them all. Obviously we want to get those. We love to be in double figures on the win column, and we feel that we can do that and make that run and build some confidence going into the sectional. Playing against that's doing some really good things, and you're playing against, again, whoever we play in the crossover. It's always going to be a challenge because it's in our conference, so that's going to be a tough game. The nice thing about that is we don't have to travel that game; it's at home. And then Frontier team that's doing some good things as well. And then we play
our rival, KV,
our rival in our Jasper County rivalry game there, and
they're having a good year.
They're having a good year as well. Coach Bradley's got them playing really well.
They're 14 or 15 and 5,
one
or 2.
Yeah, they're running double-figure wins, and so we're looking for that to finish out strong. And Hebron, Coach Bechtel's been around a while, and he's going to have his girls playing really tough. So, it's a good challenge for us. But we have to meet that challenge. We can't just talk about it. We talked about that in practice today. It's not the physical parts of things. It's the mental part of the games right now. And tomorrow's going to be that good test for us where we're going to have to be mentally ready for their pressure, what they're going to do to us, and they're going to try to trap us on the sides. They're going to try to, force us to do things we don't want to do. And we just got to stay calm and play at the intensity and the level that we're capable of playing, and good things happen when we do that.
Sectional starts January 31st, I think. Is that right?
I think so. That Monday, yeah. So
That's
Monday
not that
or Tuesday.
far off.
No, it's not. It's not that far off. So like I said, we could play West Lafayette now in a couple weeks.
And your sectional's at Benton Central?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could turn around potentially and play West Lafayette again. So
this point, you're lucky you didn't play them in that Lafayette tournament.
Yeah, the Hoops Classic. And so, again, we could play BC for the 3rd time. We could play Twin Lakes for the 2nd time. Either way, looking forward to that. I get excited about this time around the year of I hate to wind things down, but this is why you do what you do as a coach. You finish up the season strong and get ready to look forward to what you can do in the second season, because the first season's over. This sectional, everybody goes back to zero. You may had went 19-0, doesn't mean anything. And
no, it doesn't.
When you get to sectional, all the records are out the window, and it's do or die.
I bet every team started. I thought it was the 14th.
It was, but you weren't there.
When was it?
It was December.
Oh, was? I thought it was in January.
No. Man, this guy.
Oh, man. Well, how'd it go anyway?
Santa Claus already came and went already. What is wrong with you? It's 2023. We're past that. It went well. It did. The boys and girls worked well, and it was a good thing, and it was a good fundraiser for us, and had some good quality food and dinner from Nelson's Porta Pit Chicken, so it was good. Pork chops were good.
And you send a lot of teams to play in Lafayette, right? Is that?
I do. I send 4 or 5 teams to Lafayette to play in the fall session. They go down and play down there at Lafayette against all the Lafayette teams.
So schools. I assume that's on the weekend, right?
That's always on a Saturday. They play down there Saturday, so we had a.
And that's your whole team, or just individuals, or?
That's a whole. So I send down a whole 3rd grade team, a whole 4th grade team, a whole 5th grade team, a whole 6th grade team, 7th and 8th grade team, down to play down at Legacy. And they play in the tournaments down there. It's down the floor and getting used to the opponents and who they're playing, and having some fun with it. And we do some really good things down there. We've had a lot of success that my teams do when they go down there, and they play against the bigger schools and Harrison and West Lafayette and our conference teams there as well. And we play some other teams that that we normally don't see during the season. So the girls get a lot out of it, I think. It is a commitment to from October to December of every Saturday, going down and playing. Sometimes at 7:00 in the morning, sometimes at 7:00 at night. They're able to go down there and play, and we give them a jersey and a uniform to go down there and show up and play in, and so the coaches volunteer to coach, and so it's really good for my program. We've been doing it since I got here. It's something I've implemented with them, and then here coming up in the springtime, we'll do a skills session and do some different things all the way through. It's time to go back to summer stuff and do summer stuff again. So I try to keep things going as much as possible with basketball for the girls and Rensselaer, as much as we can do and as much as I'm allowed to do with as much gym space as we have. And so it's a nonstop thing, and there's always something to do.
I need to build on a West Radke Fieldhouse or something to get that extra practice time in.
Are you going to be a donor? You got something to say?
No.
Well, no, that would be a great thing to have, and
that is a problem, is it, for all schools, really, mainly?
It is. Gym space is a problem for, at least for us. You can ask Hickman when you talk with him. It's not everybody wants boys program. I want with the girls program, or having that field house would be nice for football to have practice in if it's bad outside.
I know where there's an empty field house you could use, maybe. It's right across the road there.
You got money? I ain't got no money. So this guy, I'm broke.
Sure you
Christmas time went through. I'm broke.
I'm still waiting on my present, but I guess I'll wait a few more months. And
yeah.
Hey,
but that would be something nice to have.
Let's talk. I know the JV's not playing a full game now, but how are they doing? How are they progressing? Only playing 2 quarters.
So
they're playing something anyway.
Yeah, they're playing, and a lot of those girls. I have some that in Liberty Bate, who's a sophomore, Addison Veldman, who's a freshman, Cammie Davis, who's a freshman, and then between Bailey Radke, my daughter, Brooke Heipke, Brody, my other daughter, Cammie Rowland, Cadence Mans, Carly Drone, between them, they put that time and effort in to be able to play. Jessie Fleming was playing until she got hurt with that as well, to make us a full schedule so we could play a full JV game. So they were getting a lot of time and minutes with the 2 quarters, but I'd rather take 2 quarters and not nothing at all.
Sure, absolutely.
Because those girls need to play. They need to get up and down the floor, and the more minutes you get, you get 5 quarters a night, 6 quarters a night, you might as well use them. You might as well play with them and do what you can do. And
look, North Newton's in the same boat. They don't play 4 quarters. South Newton didn't play 4 quarters. West Central doesn't even have a JV
Right.
team. Benton Central doesn't have one. So
Right.
it's area wide.
It's not just me, and it's not just Rensselaer. It's all over the state of Indiana.
Why is that? Why is there lack of participation? I don't understand.
That's maybe a day for another conversation for a longer one. Bit. There's a lot of things that contribute to things.
Specialization,
and it is, and that is the biggest problem.
I
People
disagree
want to
with that wholeheartedly.
specialize. Yeah, I played everything I could. It didn't matter if it was baseball, football.
No, so you
track.
played everything well. Come on.
Yeah, and you did, but you played. You played. You didn't just focus on one thing. And I'm sure there's probably somebody out there right now that's mad at me because I said that. But
this is probably a big problem too.
Yeah, well, yes and no, but again, I encourage all my girls to play as many sports as you can.
Absolutely.
I want you to play, and it is everybody wants to play. We're playing high school sports, and we're at a varsity level. It's not equal playing time.
You don't get participation.
No, you don't, and it's not. And that's the other part of it. Well, if you can tell me I'm going to play, then I'll play. I can't tell you. You determine that by your effort and what you do in practice, and how hard you want to be in the situations and what's going on. And the days of just being, man, I'm glad I'm part of something, are gone anymore.
Right.
And it's not just in high school sports. You look at the college, the transfer portal is blowing up nonstop.
It's ridiculous,
and
I think.
The commitment level from, man, you and I are good at what I did. But I didn't shortchange anything else. I still competed in other things and took it to a high level with what we were doing. And
man, we could devote a whole program to this, you know what?
Absolutely. and it is.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone that can. I mean, why not? Like I said, you never know what you can do if you don't.
Right.
So
Wes, appreciate it. Good luck the rest this week, and we'll talk to you next week. All right.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
All right. Wes Radke.
Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman has been serving home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance. Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer.
Doing all right. Good to see you.
All right, 3 games to talk about. I'm going to turn it over to you to take it away.
Okay, well, after our week off from Christmas break, we came back last week and had 2 conference games in a row. We had Tri-County at Tri-County on Thursday. We had West Central on Friday at home. And then last night we faced Frontier. So really 3 conference games in a row where it was just kind of not good from the beginning. We got down right away, lots of turnovers. We shot terribly. I think we were he says we were 5 for 28. But we had 30 turnovers. Again, I mean, we were going to talk about turnovers all season. But it was just one of those deals where they jumped on us right away, 17-5, down 30-8 at halftime. It was one of those deals. We had a running clock about maybe halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, Tri-County likes to pressure, don't they?
They do.
Full court.
They do, and they're very athletic and they're young. I mean,
yes,
one of the things about this conference is, and now that I'm brand new in it, and most of these teams are very young. They have very little in the way of seniors. Last night we played Frontier, and they had 2 or 3 of them. But DeMont Christian doesn't have very many of them. Faith doesn't have any of them. Tri-County hardly has any. All these teams that are at the upper echelon of the conference, and so that means it's going to be rough sailing here a little bit. But that just means we have to get better.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I think it's starting to get on her a little bit, where she's kind of lacking some confidence sometimes. I think shots that she used to go up with some real conviction. Sometimes she's kind of she's kind of short-arming them and stuff, and she's just not going maybe sometimes the way she used to at the basket. But, it's easier to do when you don't have people that, she's always got two on her.
Right.
Knows that she's the focal point. It's just going to be more difficult. There have been a few games, though. She's had her eyes open a little bit, and she's made some good looks.
I was going to say, if she's double teamed, that means somebody's open somewhere.
Somebody's open, and sometimes this goes for all of our team, where we're starting to get to the point where we see and we're looking at what would be a good pass, and it just doesn't become a good pass.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great idea, horrible execution.
Right.
And that just, it's just so many physical mistakes. And I talked to him today a little bit about it, and the last couple games where, me running around screaming like an idiot when they're making physical mistakes, when people just have a difficult time catching the ball or dribbling the ball. It does no good for me to get all over them,
right,
or for us to run line drills over and over and over and over and over again over things that they just don't do well.
Right.
It just makes no sense. So what do you do instead? You just try to fix those things. Let's just keep working at it. Eventually, we're going to get better at those things. But yeah, the teams are definitely focusing on her, and it's made a huge difference. I mean, it's really tough to score sometimes. In that game, Lexi Cunningham had 7 rebounds and McKenna had 6. McKenna had 4 blocks in that game, but that game just didn't go well from the get-go. And then Friday night, we played a good first half.
Against West Central.
Against West Central, yeah. We were down in the first quarter. We dug ourselves a hole. We came back toward the end of the second quarter, and we had a situation where we honestly got 3 shots and a possibility at 6 points. We got back. The score was I don't know what it was exactly, but we missed a free throw. We made a free throw, missed a free throw, got the rebound, made the layup, had an and one situation, missed. So, you do such a good job of scratching and clawing and getting back, and then you make one of those mistakes. We outscored them 13-7 in the second quarter, and if not for 2 defensive complete blunders, we only give up 1 3-point shot. But we had 2 defensive letdowns, and then in the second half, they just blew us out. They 39-18. Just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong. For the game, we were 16 for 45 shooting. We had 46 turnovers. It was just one of those deals where that's the game, again, where the turnovers really reared their heads, and we just couldn't hit shots either. So everything fell apart. As good as some things finished out in the half, it went equally bad the second half. Mm-hmm. In that game, McKenna had 11 points. She had 13 rebounds. Lexi Cunningham had 8 points and 8 rebounds. June Busboom had 6 points. Cheyenne Cahill had 4 steals, and so did Madeline Ehrenholtz. And in that game, Madeline Ehrenholtz had 6 assists.
That's good.
So, I mean, yeah, we have a lot of turnovers and stuff, but we've got some people that can really find others. And if we think about it and we look at how bad we shoot, there's times where we could have a whole lot more assists than what we do because we blow a layup or something. But, so that game, Frontier, we held her to 4 points in the first half. She blew up for 21 in the second half. So it was one of those deals where not only were we turning the ball over, but then on defense, we weren't guarding anybody. They were slipping behind us in our zone and just things that we had seen on film. And against Tri-County, we were 3 for 6. And in this game, we were 10 for 14. So we got there. So you take out that quarter. Second quarter, we lose 15-14, 15-11, 11-10, 14-8. It's an 11-point game if you take out the first quarter. Of course, we have to play the first quarter.
Right.
We played much better after we had been down. We looked a lot better in the second half. We finished this game without, we never got to the 35-point mark, never got to the running clock. We had 21 first-half turnovers. We had 12, then 9. We finished the game with 26. So they continued to press us because we got back to within a manageable number. They pressed us, and we got through it. And it was one of those deals where we had a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2. We didn't score on all of them, but we looked good breaking their press. So that's a positive. We wound up losing 59-35 because, we didn't hit shots. In this game, we were 10 for 52 shooting. So, there were just things. But when we keep losing these games, I have to find something positive. I have to. So the fact that we broke their press the way we did, that's a positive. The fact that we only had 26 turnovers when we had 21 in the first half, that's a positive. Went to the free throw line 14 times, made 10. That's a positive.
It just begs the question: why can't, if you can do that for a half, 5 turnovers, why can't you do it the whole game?
If I had the answer for that,
we
would not be where we are right now. In this game here, looking at the wrong one. McKenna Schliemann had 13 points, and she had 10 rebounds. We had Madeline Aaron rhythms and stuff, and the girls were excited about it, and it just was a good practice, and that's good to see after a game like last night where we lost yet again. So, looking forward, we've got a really tough Rensselaer team, obviously. We've got them on Tuesday.
Yeah, you got 3 games left, right? That's all.
Yes, 3 games. And then next Friday, it's another conference game. It's our last conference game against North White. And I don't care that they have 3, if not, well, maybe they have 4 wins now.
4 wins.
4 wins now, but, by 2. They've got probably the highest strength of schedule in all of 1A. They play some tough teams.
And they play a tough zone defense.
They do, and they have that pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Coach has got them, for all these years. I've looked, before I even started playing North White, and this will be the first time I've ever played them, I look at their box scores, and I look at the scores, and I see they're always low.
Right.
And you know what kind of game that's going to be.
Yep.
So you better be on. And I've seen them play a couple times. And
you better shoot from the outside, that's for sure.
Well, we'd better, and we don't do that great, but they do. The game that I saw them play might have been Tri-County or something. I've seen them play a couple games, West Central and Tri-County. They would pass the ball around, and when they got an open shot, they took it and they hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something we do very often. So, that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, the pace is going to be slow, that's for sure.
That's fine, because even when I say let's go, we don't run.
Right.
So, that's going to be just fine. And then our last game is at Wheeler, which I'm familiar with because, nobody's left there from when I was coaching there before, but I coached freshmen, so that'll be the end of our games. And, we'll just look forward to see what the sectional draw is.
Where's your sectional at?
Andrean.
Andrean. Okay.
So in that sectional, you've got Andrean and Lake Station. They're going to be the class of the sectional.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Ileana Christian, you've got Whiting. We're moving up to Lake County is what we've got here. So we've got Ileana Christian, we've got Whiting, we've got, I think it's
area 2A schools anymore.
No.
Rensselaer moved up to 3A.
Right. So we move all the way up there. And the only other place we could have gone would have gone maybe to go a little bit northeast, where we would go wherever Hebron is at, with North Judson and stuff like that. So, but we're going at least to play some teams that I'm more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I've not played Andrean but a couple times, but I know they're great. And I've played Lake Station the last few years, and I know
the acoustics in there are just tremendous. I enjoy watching basketball games at North White. It's just a blast.
Yeah,
so.
we've got, and I've been looking forward to that. We've got some gyms around here like that. Being in the PCC like I was, and playing at what's now Tri-Township, lacrosse. They've got the same thing where they've got, it's just a little bandbox. You've got like this much room before you're out of bounds, and they've got a stage and everything. So there's a few that are like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going there. It's a boys and girls night where we'll play our game, and then the boys will play right after us, and we'll leave the gym and we'll go and play in the auxiliary gym for JV.
Conference doubleheaders like that?
Yeah, I kind of wish that we had them more often, because some of our travel on a weeknight, like next year we will have to on a Tuesday night.
Right.
And they had to do it. Those kinds of games, I think it would be nice if those would be Friday night or Saturday games. And why not have boys and girls?
I like that for a broadcast schedule. That's wonderful
for broadcast schedule, for gate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never did understand why the Duneland Conference has the boys play in one place and the girls play in another place, but they play the same teams.
Taking away the
crowd.
you
would have the same. Just because I'm a parent of a girls player doesn't mean I wouldn't have any interest at all in the boys' games.
Exactly.
So I've never understood that, but I've always liked those. The one thing I do wish, though, is I wish that they would toggle back and forth between boys and girls playing in the JV slot, which we don't seem to. I think that we'll always play the 5:30 game at 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you then, all right?
Yes, thank you.
Chris York from the North Newton Lady Spartans. Back to wrap things up with Chad Pulver from the Rensselaer Central Bauer boys team after this on 3KGTheCage.com.
Personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics. Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals, increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
And back on the coach's case.
Yes, they
let's
haven't
go
since
back.
week.
Let's go back to the Central Catholic game first.
So we went in and had pretty high expectations going into that game. We knew that Central Catholic knew how to play basketball.
That was one of your games that you were pointing toward, right?
It is. It's one of our gauntlet games. So we have usually stacked up. We have Central Catholic, we have West Lafayette, and we have Couts. And those 3 tend to gauge how the season's going to look for us. And so we went in. We had watched a lot of film on them, knew their personnel very well, knew what they were going to do. And actually, it was a good back and forth game. They got up, we came back. We were leading the first quarter. We were down by 6 at a half. Went back and forth.
A lot of offense that game.
It was a lot of offense, which is usually not our style. And so, not that we can't score, but
right.
we usually, I think we're averaging, most teams are staying under 47, 46 points, and they scored 75. So that shows you where our emphasis wasn't quite as sharp as it needed to be. We spent a lot of time on defense last week, and it did not show very well for us when we played them. And so we have to do better. And so going into Tuesday, I felt like we executed some of our defensive philosophies a little bit better.
So 75-65, somebody had to play well for you.
Colby Chapman had a really good offensive game. He got going offensively. He was able to move. He was able to get into to lanes and squeak through, and was shooting pretty well. We had Noel Marchand also put in 10 points for us. And so as far as us being able to score, that's great. But when we score 65 and go of and holding teams into those 40s or even into the low 50s, I think we have a good shot every night. But our loss against Lafayette Central Catholic, it was just our spacing was poor, and we played a lot of almost isolation defense. We were trying to play on the ball independently, and that's really not a good strength for us. Not that we can't play on the ball, but we do a much better job when we're a team defense and we have 10 eyes on the ball and we're moving as a unit, and I think that was our emphasis. It is our emphasis this week. We're trying to really improve how we're seeing the ball and where we need to be in space.
You had a makeup game last night.
And they have 6 seniors, and so our seniors have played against them for a lot of years. And so with the with the reality that we're playing on their floor, and the history of us going to South Newton has been they slow the game down. They're willing to play a lot of defense, and so we knew that what we were going to have to do is get out early and then be able to keep the pressure on them. And I thought we did a pretty good job doing that.
And who played well for you last night then?
We had 9 guys that scored for us last night, so we moved the ball well. Colby ended up, I think, with 17 points, and Tristan Wietrich had 10 for us. But then we had 2 or 3 guys with 6, and we had guys with 4 and 2. And rebound-wise, Tommy Boyles actually had a great game for us. He had 6 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists, and a steal. And so, having a well-rounded game like that, Caden Rowland came in and right off the bench had 2 great assists, 3 or 4 rebounds, and then put the ball in the hole for a few points. And so those all-around games are really important for us, especially when someone comes in and gives us a big spark like that.
Well, you mentioned those 2 teams, and they're the next 2 on your schedule, aren't they?
Yes, I'm
West
well aware.
Lafayette Friday at home, and then at Couts Saturday.
Yes.
Talk about those games.
And so West Lafayette, they are a team that beat us in the Hoops Classic. They beat us by 2 down in Lafayette. And so we feel like we owe them, and we were in the wrong position. And so their closeouts were, rather than being 6 or 8 feet, were 12 to 10 feet. And so those are more difficult closeouts to make, and it gives them a lot of room, and they can shoot the ball if they're left open like that.
It's not very often you get a chance at playing a team twice in the regular season.
Oh, well, our sectional is basically filled with teams that we could play 3 times. And so we have BC, Westside, Twin Lakes, and West Lafayette all in our sectional. So I fully expect to see all of them in the sectional. And so when the sectional draw occurred over the spring-summer and we saw who was in it, that was my first reaction was, we're going to see these teams 3 times.
I don't want to see them 3 times.
Yeah, it's hard enough once or twice. And then to add that 3rd one there, it's more of a crapshoot.
So the key to the West Lafayette game, what's it going to be?
We really have to handle the guards. Their guard play is very strong. They have a couple guys that know how to shoot. They know how to open up aired. And so we've traditionally played them very tight. Even when they were highly ranked in their system, we always gave them a tough game. And last year we finally took one away from them. And so we need to follow that up again this year after coming in. And
you always have your angles, don't you?
It's
win 2 in a row.
Yeah, we have. I mean, that's what we're dealing with, though. I mean, we have a winning record, but we've been playing since they were little against each other, and so there's a lot of heated going on in the middle of that game. So I mean, these handful of games coming up for us are important for us.
Chad Pulver's is our guest here tonight to wrap things up. About halfway through the season, Chad, what are your goals, or what do you hope to accomplish the last 11 or 12, 13 games here?
We're still trying to find our rhythm. We've had some injuries. We've had a couple where, people's roles that we thought we could massage in over the course of December into January were thrust into different positions. And so now we're trying to make sure that the things that we're doing, we're placing them in spots and in situations to where they can perform better. And when we do that, it will have us ready for the end of the season. We really have adopted a growth mindset. We did that before the season, that everything we're doing, it is not trial and error, but it still comes down to we have to execute. It's not enough to say the right things. We have to go out and do the right things.
Are you satisfied with your rotations and who's playing with whom and the time they're getting now, or is that still?
It is still in the mix.
Still in the mix.
I think that's part of where we are with it is still trying to figure out how do we use particular players. If someone comes in and they're not having a night, who is supposed to step up? And we need people to step up. We have 5 or 6 guys that they're the train. They're the ones that we're going to jump on and ride along. But we need 2 or 3 other guys at any time that have to give us those 2 minutes at a time or 5 minutes and a quarter. And if we don't have someone that steps up, it makes it that much more tight for the other guys. And so I think we're getting better at it. I think that on Tuesday night when we played South Newton, we gave a lot of guys some time on the floor. Boone Grove over the late part of December, again, we had a time where we put in guys and they had to learn how to close the game.
Mm-hmm.
And making that decision that this is it. You've got to close the game, and telling that directly, like there's no one else coming in for you. You have to finish this game, and them getting over that nervousness and then still having to play. And I think we're getting better at that. But again, we've had to accelerate some things, and I know every team does it. It's what we have to do, but it's just been. It's been some learning curve that we have to maintain it and start to flatten that curve out.
Well, you're averaging 58.4 points per game, allowing only 4.
Absolutely. When we play like we can play, I feel very confident for us. I feel very good about how the boys are playing. I feel very good about how they are approaching the season. When we do falter, though, it turns off in a hurry. And so thinking of the game at Lafayette Central Catholic, thinking of Hanover Central, and those two losses for us, it was our own self-inflicted wounds that happened, and that's the part where I want to being in the wrong spot, not helping on the drive, or closing out late, or allowing that offensive guy to slip through and get an offensive rebound. And so those are the things that they seem small at the time, like, ooh, that was a tough play, but then when you give up 4 or 5 tough plays, that's 8 points, 10 points. So suddenly you may have given up your lead, or maybe now you have to play catch up. And that's very difficult when we have to do it that way.
Now, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, but...
So Cass was, and we were in practice. It was after our second game, and at the end of practice, it was... It wasn't random. It was an offensive play that he was on defense, went to go for the steal and get a tip on the ball, and came into contact with 2 people at the same time as he was up in the air, and that twisted and torqued his knee to where it tore his ACL and his meniscus.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. Well, being up in the air and having.
Well, the ACL is known as a jumper injury. So 70% of the time when someone tears their ACL, it's because they're jumping or doing something. But for him, it was less of a physical strain on his tendon and ligament. It was because of the way that the contact happened with the 2 people around him.
And
so it torqued his knee.
Jeez.
And so that was the end of his ACL, and then his meniscus was also partially torn. So on the 28th, he had reconstructive surgery. And
that went well?
It went very well. We were very happy with the physician and the surgeon who did it.
How did he take it mentally?
It's still tough. It is still a process, and I think that anyone who goes through this, it's always a difficult thing to lose a season. And then if you're a senior and lose it, I think there's another layer to that. And so
it's probably hard on the family too, isn't it?
Yes, it's very difficult for us. And so, being the father and being the coach, I try to separate those roles quite a bit.
Right.
But this is a time where they have bled together pretty quickly.
Sure.
And so, knowing that when we're in season, I tend to be in the coach role a lot, and in this situation, there have been times where, as the dad, it's heartbreaking. It's emotional to know that he can't touch the floor like that again. So we're working through that, and I think in his own way, he's trying to find his own path for what's going to come for him next. But
so now he's into physical therapy.
He is
rehab
doing the
and
rehab right now, and he's been doing fantastic. And so we have met with the surgeon again last week. We go again tomorrow, and by all objective measures, he is way ahead of the curve. And so
he's going to get back to good health eventually, right?
Yes. So the way he's showing right now, he's ahead of the curve, but usually it is 6 months. 6 months to have yourself ready to be able to do some explosive work. And then depending on how that healing is, it could be another 2 or 3 months after that. But
probably 5 years ago it would have been a year.
Yes, it has improved tremendously, and the technology behind it, and the research to show what ligaments are the best to be able to regenerate and which ones work the best for having it be explosive power again. And so he has responded well. He's been very disciplined with how he's handled all the rehab, and so he does his exercises and makes sure he does his different therapies with the cooling and the stretching and the extension and the flexion. And so he's done a great job. But I hope that tomorrow when we go down that he'll get another good report back from the physician, as well as he works with a specialist down there with the physical therapy. And so
is this in Lafayette, you say?
It's in Carmel.
Okay.
Yes. So we went with a physician who was the Colts team doctor for a lot of years.
Oh, cool.
And so yes, he's been fantastic and really very responsive as well as knowledgeable and very helpful in the process.
Probably eases your mind a little bit too, doesn't
And
it?
more than a little bit. It was very disconcerting, and for me, I take the health of not just my family but my players very seriously,
Right.
and trying to prepare them for it's a very long, arduous season, and trying to get them physically ready to do that. And to have Tommy Boyles go out last year with a knee, and then to have Cass go out with a knee this year, I was really questioning, like, what are we not doing correctly? How are we?
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's after going 4 years with nothing, and it was just
now evening out. I
yeah,
guess.
it's
I don't
just
know.
unusual. So, and that's why they're accidents. I mean, no one
Right.
plans for them to happen. But the good part about it is that given how quickly Cass is rehabbing and how much time he put into keeping himself healthy with doing preventative maintenance, it seems like his knee is responding so much quicker because of all the stuff he did for years to make sure that it was going to be strong. And so even with the traumatic torque and the damage that was done, it seems like the knee itself has been able to put itself in a better place for the healing. So we've got our fingers crossed, and hopefully it'll continue.
Now, I don't ask this very often, but when that happened, did you know something seriously was wrong, or did you not?
He did. So
He did.
when he talked about it after the fact, I think he knew in that moment that something bad had happened. I was within 10 feet of him. I was on the side of the floor where other people were not. When it happened, and the way because he was up in the air, and so when he hit the two people and then he twisted and fell, most people thought he hit his head on the floor.
Mhm.
And so everyone, like when the gym does that,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's doing it because of him thinking he hit his head. And what I saw was when he went up, he clapped his hands to his knee, and then he fell. And so it wasn't like he hit one leg and went down. He went right to his side.
Mhm.
So I walked out, I put my hand on his knee, and he was in physical, I mean, I could tell he was in pain,
Mhm.
but he wasn't screaming and yelling, he wasn't in tears, but he knew, when he talked about it, he said, I knew something wasn't right. I
Right.
knew it wasn't a sprain.
Right.
And he's gone through ankle sprains. I mean, he's gone through other things
Right.
like that. And so when we talked about it, he did talk about, hearing and feeling the snaps.
Mhm.
And so, when you do that to a joint, they do snap. The tendons snap back and forth, which is what hurts so badly. You stretch
Mhm.
them out over than what they should, and so then you have to tighten them back up. And then all the tests they did on the floor seemed to be negative, meaning that he seemed to still be intact, and so we had hope. And so that hope.
And I'm sure he'll put in the work to get back to 100% and keep us up to date on how he's doing, all right?
Well, thank you very much. I will.
All right, good luck, and we'll see you next week.
All right,
okay?
thank you.
All right. Chad Pulver been our guest. Back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit Hillcrest.
Carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and
All right, ready to wrap things up from the Coach's Cage show at Arnie's Pizza in Rensselaer. I'd like to thank Beth and the gang here for taking care of the coaches with food and drinks, and invite anybody to come out to Arnie's and enjoy their great food here. whenever you can. That would be much appreciated. Thank all the coaches for coming in. Thank the sponsors. And as always, Scotty Miller doing a great job running the board. Friday night, Midwest Conference boys basketball, Tri-County hosting West Central. Be on the air around 6:15 Central Time for the pregame show. Till then, this is Bob Kurtz for Scotty Miller. So long, everybody.
The proceeding was a Kage Community Broadcasting.